not bad at all. All right, dissociative disorders are when someone loses a part of their memory, okay, and they can't obviously remember anything. So what happens is we have this breakdown into a few different things. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt already, but when you say they lose a part of their memory, is it like short-term and then it comes back? Or is
it could be,
okay.
Or it could be long-term. All right. So we have two breakdowns that kind of go together. We have dissociative amnesia. We also have dissociative fugue. All right. Dissociative amnesia. When we talk about dissociative amnesia, we have sudden loss of memory. It's usually related to traumatic events, but usually with dissociative amnesia, what's happening here is that it's a loss of memory, usually pertaining to that specific event. All right. So you are like in a fire, right? Let's say like that was a real fire we just had, okay? And it was so traumatic for you that you forgot like things that happened during the fire, okay? So, you know, they were trying to find out, let's say it was an arson, all right? And they were trying to find out, they started questioning students and staff to find out like what happened during it. Can you remember? Did you see anybody in your life? I don't remember anything. You know, that would be dissociative amnesia because it was such a traumatic experience for you, blacked out in a sense. You just don't remember anything about it. All right? Dissociative fugue is a bit different. It's when you are forgetting not just the event, but you're forgetting all sorts of personal information about yourself. You can't really remember, like, family. You can't remember friends. You can't remember, even if you're married and have children, you don't even remember them. Okay? But you can remember other little things. Like you remember things like that. You can know how to drive a car. You know how to do math. You know how to write your name. Like things like that you can do. Okay? You can say the alphabet, et cetera, et cetera. All right? But the personal aspects of your life, you just don't remember and recall at all. Okay? So this could be dangerous in the sense that people who suffer from dissociative fugue can have a tendency to just kind of go off and start a new life somewhere, okay? And yeah, this can take place for years. You know, all of a sudden they, move to Colorado or wherever. They get married again, have some kids, not realizing that they have a whole other family out there, whatever's going on, okay? I mean, not just the family, we're like silly enough to let that really happen.
Is it possible for them to remember, like, after they go through what they want to learn?
Sure. Your memory can be triggered at any moment in time. Mm-hmm. Yep, you could be walking in the street one day and something jogs your memory, whatever that is for you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my. What the hell? Yeah. Yeah. So, and it could be anything, like, I don't know, let's say, a Danielle Steele novel that they turned into a made-for-TV movie on Lifetime, right? And my mother loves to watch them. And so, and all of a sudden, like the spouse comes looking for you, and you see them in a parking lot, and has any of you ever seen, this is very old, not very old, it's like an 80s flick, it was Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They are married, actually. Yeah, Overboard. And she's a very exceptionally wealthy woman. And she is like real obnoxious. And she hires someone, Kurt Russell, who's a carpenter, to create this part of her closet because she has like all these shoes and she needs this fabulous shoe case in order to hold all of her shoes. So he does it. And she hates it. So she's like, forget it, I'm not paying you. Do it again. And he's like, well, you got to pay me for what I did, and then I'll do it again. She's like, nah. So she pushes him overboard, over her yacht, and throws all of his shoes over the yacht. And she's pissed, right? So, yeah, she's like very wealthy, snobby woman. And she was like, besides, you made it in this type of wood. I wanted it done in this type of wood. And he's like, well, you didn't tell me that. And they had a whole thing. So she's off on their yacht, and it's really late at night, and she tells her husband, oh my God, I left my wedding ring outside, go get it. And he's like, no, I'm watching, Lifestyle for the Famous. Wait. She's like, no, I want it now. So she goes to get it, and in the midst of all of it, she accidentally falls overboard.
right? So they find her, fishing boat finds her the next morning, and she just loses her memory. So Kurt Russell has an idea to try to get even with her. So he claims to be her husband, picks her up, and turns her into his mate. All right? He was like, yeah, you're my wife, and these are all the things you used to do. You used to clean, you used to chop wood, you used to do the laundry, you took care of all 4 of our kids. And she goes along with it because she has no clue. All of a sudden, one day, she comes walking back into the house. They actually are getting along now. And as she's walking into the house, her husband's standing, her real husband, standing right there, and she passes him right by, and bam, she remembers everything out of nowhere. That's how it would go, something like that. Nothing, you can go along and have this life, and all of a sudden,
It's been going for like 30 years without knowing.
yeah, it could go on. For some people, a very short time, and for others, a really long time. Yep. Yes.
What would you call it for a moment? You forget everything. Like if you woke up and you forgot almost everything about yourself, and then like it slowly comes back to you. Was that dissociative disorder?
Yeah, well, it would be a dissociative kind of thing. I don't know if they would classify it really as disorder.
Okay.
It's, because you have to meet the criteria for it, and it would probably be over an extended period of time that your memory would have to be gone.
But is it over an extended period of time that it happens, or that it recurs for an extended period of time? Or should I just check in the DSM?
Meaning what? Extended period of time, that what happens?
Is it an extended period of time, like the period of time that you forget is over a certain amount of time?
You have lost your memory
Right.
for like 6 months or more.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Then we have dissociative identity disorder. All right, which you guys, no, you don't know. All right, so some of you know, some of you don't. If you were with me last year, I showed you Sybil, and Sybil portrays dissociative identity disorder, okay? And in that film, you have a young girl who is suffering from multiple personalities. It used to be called multiple personality disorder. It's now called dissociative identity disorder. Okay? Now, with dissociative identity disorder, this is a really interesting disease.